Hello and welcome to the Knights of Gab-A-Lot. I am Sir Benjamin,
And I am Sir Nick.
and
Wait,
we are
wait. Can I say that again? I upspoke that. And I am Sir Nick.
and we are here to gab your ears off over all things storytelling. And this time it is Fallout Season 2, Episode 6.
The other player. All right, my lovely children. Let us recap this episode. Lucy continues searching for her father. Her confidence in Vault-Tec and the Vault system keeps eroding. Basically, her worldview is slowly crumbling from the inside out. She uncovers stronger evidence that the vaults were never simply shelters, that they were controlled experiments with larger political goals, something that we knew, of course. This is a turning point for her. She's still determined, but her innocence is continually fading. The Ghoul storyline deepens through more hints about his past and his long-standing knowledge of Vault-Tec. It becomes clear that he understands that there's a bigger game going on. He's sort of tracking he's been tracking powerful interests for years. His motives are tied to accountability and revenge, not just survival, which is really interesting. We'll get into it, but I like Coop's backstory here. But anyway, carrying on. We get back to Maximus, who faces increasing pressure within the Brotherhood of Steel. They've escaped, obviously. Begins to realize that the organization operates politically, not purely morally, which is really funny because how could you not see that? And not a whole lot happens with him and Thaddeus, but they're there. Yeah, more or less, we get Lucy seeing what her dad's been up to. We get the Ghoul, who's still impaled, and Dogmeat being just a good old boy and not providing the right kind of help that's needed. Ooh, and a cameo, but I will not spoil this cameo yet. Do you know what cameo I speak of?
As soon as you say it, it'll probably click, but my brain, my brain was not there for cameos this time. Like it's been a bit
I
of a
guess
week.
we will get there, but we'll hint at it. We get a super mutant. Overall, what did you think of the episode? Obviously, we're going to get into it, and then
Yeah,
but like,
it's funny. Like I found with this episode, like by the time it got to the end, I was like, well, that was quick. It
it felt
felt
quick.
yeah, it felt really quick, and I even had a moment of like, wait, what even happened? And because it felt so quick,
Yeah,
so I'd say like it didn't feel like a lot happened. Like there was quite a bit I think happened. I think it was more character things.
a
I'd say
lot more
yeah, there
character.
a lot more
Yeah,
character, less action. I think there's because I think there's also some episodes where there's a lot of jumping around, and it's like you see someone for 1 minute and then jumps somewhere else for 2 minutes and then jumps and
yeah.
then circles back, and you get these short, you'll see they'll cut back to the same person 5 or 6 times, whereas here they maybe cut back twice. And so I think that's part of why it felt shorter and it felt like less happened, just because there was less jumping back and forth.
Yeah, the latter half of the season so far, there's been a whole lot more focus on Lucy, the
Hmm.
Ghoul slash Cooper's backstory.
Yes,
Um, I think the show's been stronger for it.
I do too.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't need to go in again just how much of a drag the Brotherhood plotline has been,
Hmm.
especially since it. Actually, I'm going to go into it a little bit. I'm realizing even more and more how little that plot line actually mattered, unless it somehow comes back and is like we have a Deus Ex plot line show up where all of a sudden it's super relevant.
Hmm.
But I'm trying to think what value the plot line has brought to the overall story. There's the whole cold fusion thing,
Hmm.
right? That Maximus is involved in and whatever. And there's value in the fact that his character is fine until we get the really bad payoff from a couple episodes before.
Hmm.
But the real meat and potatoes of this story is Lucy, the Ghoul, and then wrapped up with House and Hank.
Yeah.
Hank is a very interesting character, and we see a whole lot more of him in this episode, which I really liked.
Yes.
I liked because there was a whole lot of play back and forth between Lucy and her father, And I was expecting there to be a bit of a drag with the narrative
Yeah.
because usually when shows or TV or movies do this, they get really sentimental.
Hmm.
As you know, oh, we have to show why Lucy loves her dad, and there's all this conflict. But they've already done that work beforehand, and they've shown where she gets to how she is now.
Hmm.
They don't need to play through all that again. And I like the way that they did it in this episode.
Yeah. Especially where
So,
you have her coming up against her upbringing and sense of justice, and then
yeah.
she's meets her father in the vault there, and she sees what he's been doing by putting the chip in a whole bunch of people, and that he's found a way to make it work, that all these people are quote unquote subservient in a way, but and then you find out that, oh, that person over there, this person was a murderer, this person was a raider over here,
Mhm.
and this person did this, and now, oh yeah, and those two guys, yeah, they were enemies before, and they would have ripped each other's necks out, but now they're best friends and all that stuff, and almost kind of he's showing kind of like the ends justify the means kind of thing, and it's completely throwing her for a loop.
Well, especially because of how chaotic the wasteland is.
Hmm.
As much of a free will guy as I am, as much as I like freedom of action, freedom of travel, freedom of speech, in this world, when I'm looking at what Hank is doing, I go, I don't agree out of principle, but this is a good argument. And they showed that. They didn't tell it, they just showed it. I mean, he there was some dialogue that went
Yes.
into it. They did a very good job of showing that. And I was very, very happy. That was some of my favorite parts of this episode involved that.
Yeah, I was having similar thoughts of they didn't say it. Unlike it's funny, like right after that whole scene, I began thinking about like how many other shows that we've seen recently or movies or whatnot where the moral thing or whatever's going on here, the deeper thing to think about is spelled out for you in dialogue, and they'll say it. And whereas here it's done through, there's a little bit of dialogue, but most of it is through Lucy's reaction to what
Yeah.
she's seeing, that these people who, if they weren't chipped, they would be killing each other and whatnot. And
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
and a little bit into the episode, which we'll get to, I'm sure, we get to see that in action. I
Hmm.
mean, hopefully you got to see that and Amazon
Yes,
didn't
yes, it
cover
did.
it over with.
No,
Okay, very good.
yeah.
Amazon. One thing I would, if it's okay, I would like to jump back to the very opening scene,
Yes, yeah,
where
go
we
for
have
it.
Barb in the oh gosh, what the frick? What are those rooms called? The boardroom.
Yeah, Barb in the
Where she's got
boardroom.
interviews with the presentations with the scientists and with the logistics guy. You know, the scientist is telling her, it gives a little bit of perspective into what she's dealing with because it would be very easy to just villainize her.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying that I still think that she is villainous, but she's sympathetic.
Yes.
And just seeing what she's dealing with here, where she has a scientist who's telling her how a lot of the water filters that they're going to put into the vaults will fail. But the good news, we'll know which ones will fail. So we just have to decide which vaults will get those. So you're not going to spend the time to fix them? Is it too expensive? Do you not have enough time?
That was my first thought. My first thought too, it was like, wait, so just before installation, you'll know which ones are defective. So why don't you just swap it out? Like,
Either build
yeah.
them. What that could tell you now, either this was a funny but
Hmm.
lazy way of just kind of showing, oh, look how terrible Vault-Tec is. They don't care about people,
Hmm.
or it could be a way of showing that they have a timeline that they're marching to.
Right.
Which
Hmm.
obviously, when it comes to equipment, time, money, logistics to get all of that together, maybe they just don't have that time, or
Hmm.
the people above the scientists are like, finish up with that, and we
Yeah.
have to move on to other things.
Hmm.
Now go do your presentation like a good boy.
Yeah.
I could
Yeah,
see that.
that I would be okay with that kind of an explanation, because one of my first thoughts was like, okay, well, yeah, it was about the, why not replace them, and then my next thought was, wait a minute, I thought a lot of these vaults were also created with the plan of using them for experimentation, so to create better people for preparation for. Now I'd have to go into the lore again, but if I remember correctly,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
a
yeah,
big
yeah.
part of it was because they wanted to prepare people for leaving Earth, was part of the thing. The Enclave was involved with it a little bit, if I remember correctly. But anyway, there's other stuff
Yeah.
involved. So it's so with the water chip thing, my thought was like, isn't this counterintuitive to the end goal of
Well, it's a
experimenting on
hiccup.
people? Yeah,
It's not like they were faulty on purpose.
yeah. But it's like a hiccup.
And
Like, wouldn't you want to cure that hiccup so you have one less thing to worry about when you're doing experiments? But
yeah,
that's me
but
overthinking again.
at on the other way, it could be part of the experiment. They go, oh, we'll just add this other element of what are they going to do when their water runs out? Oh, what are the rats going to do, right? It could be that.
Yeah.
The one that really got me though was I think it was the logistics officer or the CEO guy talking about how he's eating a French fry while he's talking. He says,
Mhm.
"So we know that there's about 30 minutes between the alarms going off and the bombs landing. So what we need to do is put a special lane on the freeway so that way special Vault-Tec premium customers can get to their vaults faster."
And oh
I
yes,
thought that was so funny.
and and he was also saying with that, like, charge another charge on top of it for the use of
Yeah,
that
an
lane.
additional charge.
I'm like, that is, yeah. I thought that was pretty hilarious.
That was a good scene opening up, giving a whole other side to what Barb's dealing with, which I
Yeah.
really like. I like what they're doing with Barb and with Coop. It's
Hmm.
really good.
Oh, yes, and to kind of add on to what you were saying about making her a sympathetic villain, I appreciate this so much that they just don't straight up vilify her. That there's
Yeah,
more
that'd be too
complex.
easy.
Yeah, yeah, that would be too easy, and it's there's more complexity, way better writing with that. It's really nice nowadays not to have just the here's the villain, hate the villain.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And
Well, that's one of
and
those things.
also not
Oh,
making them sympathetic. And because also the problem I've noticed with when people try to do sympathetic villains is they do pity. They, give you, it's like, oh well, they had a rough upbringing, or this person abused them,
yeah,
or you name it. And it's just a sympathy thing rather than an actual complex, you know yeah,
I agree.
complexity to the villain.
Yeah, because then you get the stupid little adage of hurt people, which is true, but most people, I don't know, I've heard people use that as an excuse.
Hmm. Yeah.
And it's like, so, so what? Um, a vile act has been committed, which is why with Barb, I don't go. I'm sure there are some people who would look at her and go, "Oh, but she's sympathetic, so she's good." No, that's no. The road to hell is paved with good intentions,
Hmm.
and it seems like what they're setting her up as is somebody who is blocking out all of the other people because she wants to protect Coop and Janie,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is noble to a certain degree.
Hmm.
But there does come a certain point where it's still not good.
Yeah.
Great stuff, just great, great stuff,
Yes.
and all done with a wink and a nod. And then we get back to the Ghoul. I love the whole bit. He's still on the pole, and Dog Meat shows up. Hey, give me my bag, give me my bag. And the dog, and then grabs the hat. And he's like, not the effing hat. And then he leaves with the hat.
Oh man.
He's just trying to be a good old boy. So I guess actually this all loops back in because now we go back into
Oh, well,
that. Oh yeah, sorry.
before, I just want to say about that scene with him being on the pole. The thing I really liked about that scene, or was that later on? Oh, there's
Um,
another scene. One of the scenes when he's on the pole, where he's basically trying.
Flashbacking.
Yeah, he's flash. Oh, we can get to that later.
Well, the flashback was what I was going to jump into
Oh
because
yeah,
this
yeah, go for
happens
it then.
right after the not the effing hat.
Right, yeah,
But
go for it.
if that's ahead of what you're going for, I don't want to cut you
No,
off.
no. It's the next part when he's fighting. He's fighting the feral ghoul aspects when he's
Yeah.
fighting that.
Oh yeah, no, that's actually a good point to make. 'Cause he's clearly the feral side starting to come out again.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, and I thought that was so well done. I really like. I don't know. I have a thing for people fighting an inner nature, an inner demon, something
oh
inside of
yeah,
them, and that really comes through with this of just like he's fighting it. And I really liked when he's out loud telling himself who he is. He's repeating his
oh,
name. He's reminding himself about his family and who he's fighting for, and I dig that so much.
I know, I love it. I like seeing I like seeing a dude who is just bringing to mind the two most important people in his life, and I am going to get to the top of this frickin' pole, and then he doesn't. He falls back, but it was a really good effort.
Oh yeah.
But he has this flashback where he's talking with Barb.
Hmm.
Um, and they're just talking, and she thinks that it's going to be oh, we're just talking, then we're gonna go to sleep. And then he says, were you a monster back then, or did you become one later? And she says, excuse me? And he just says, war never changes. A line that obviously she knows,
Because
he would know
she said it in,
only
yeah, because she said it in
in
that,
privacy
yeah, she said it in that
or in company.
boardroom. She said it in that boardroom when with Vault-Tec when they first talked about dropping the bombs and he was listening in, and of course she
Yeah.
didn't know.
And yeah, of course, and then of course, spelling it. This part, spelling it out for the people who are secondary viewing. I
Hmm.
know what you're planning on doing.
Yeah,
Um, and they argue back and forth, and it was so freaking well done. I loved it. Chef's kiss. Um, and then we get a little bit of a tonal whiplash as we move to Lucy in Vault-Tec, walking around and seeing all the mind control people, and it's just absurdly funny. You got two Legionnaires who are coming around the corner and they're talking like just good old chums. Hey, howdy, hey. And, she's got something in her hand and they're like, oh, hello, how are you? Uh, I'm fine. Do you need help getting to where you need to go? I'm good. I'm good. Okay, just shout if you need help. And then it just,
yeah, it's so good.
yeah.
When she gets into the room where the people are they're assembling the chips and everyone's moving
Oh,
in
I
unit in
know.
synchronization and everything. And just the way the music was going up, I was like,
I expected
so
to break into a musical.
I did too. I did too. I was like, okay, is this going to be a musical episode? I mean, I have a lot. I do enjoy a good musical episode if it's done well. Moving on. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't think it would have worked. I think it would have if they had like a little brief thing where they have them, singing as they're working for a brief little thing, and then that's it. I think that could have worked. Or like they
Yeah.
just do one little musical number. I still would have been okay with that, but
Well, we
not.
do get a musical later. We get a musical number later.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we kind of do.
That was funny, but that's later.
Yeah.
Actually, I made notes about a later scene, but I guess later on in the episode, same room that we're talking about,
Hmm.
except this time Lucy is with Hank.
Hmm.
And then there's a Legionnaire and an NCR soldier who are strapped to a chair, and the Legionnaire is just massive. And what's his name? The guy who was the snake oil salesman.
Yeah, I don't
I don't
remember his
remember his
name.
name.
Yeah.
I just call him Snake, Doctor Snake Oil. And then Lucy says, "No, don't turn the things on. Don't mind control them. Okie dokie, no problem." And then he lets them go, and then the Legionnaire starts to beat the crap out of the NCR guy. Which it took me a moment to realize it, but that was Uncle Rico. That was the NCR soldier from a couple episodes
Oh
ago,
yeah,
who was talking with the squirrel. Yeah.
right. I forgot.
So he's got a stapler and he's just beating his head with a stapler. It's just staple, 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 staple. And then Lucy goes on, turns it on, and the Legionnaire looks down at the NCR guy. You okay there, guy? That looks like it hurts. Let's get you some medical attention.
So good. So good. The look on Lucy's face there, like when she intentionally, hits the button to mind control them, and just you can see there's such a conflict with like, what's the name of the actress again? Do you remember? I keep on forgetting her name.
Ella Parnell.
Yeah, she does an incredible.
Ellen.
She does
Ella.
such a good job of communicating with her face there, of just the conflict within her character. Just after her first conversation with Hank before this, of like, I'm gonna, I'm arresting you. I'm gonna bring you to back to Vault 31, or was it 32? One of the
33.
33, right?
33.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring you back to 33 to face justice and everything. And then now she's had to, mind control these guys, and she's trying to deal with just her entire world being, and her entire moral paradigm, everything just being smacked around internally.
Uh-huh.
And you can just see that on her face as she's just trying to figure out how to parse what she's seeing and doing with her moral compass.
Yeah, it goes to show you just how difficult it is to have a moral compass in this world.
Well, because we're now in a world that might is right.
Which I think some people would argue is true nowadays, but I think it's pretty simple. Power isn't just might, but
yeah,
it's a part of it. I also really like Hank as a character.
Yes, I figured you.
As a character, you know, prior to the scene, he's trying to get Lucy to talk to him about what book? All Quiet on the Western Front.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, this ties into it. He's got a copy of All Quiet on the Western Front, which, by the way, Netflix movie, amazing. If you have not seen it, watch it. Great. Okay. Depressing, but really good. Great, great, great movie. Okay, that's a different show. And she says, I never finished it. He says, oh, well, when you get to the end, both sides realize, what have we been fighting for? Nothing, really, if you think about it. And he's tying that into the mind control.
Right. Yes.
Seriously, though, if you haven't seen All Quiet on the Western Front, Benjamin, do yourself a favor.
I've been meaning to also read it too. It's on my list. I'll have to see if I have it. I don't. I might. It might have. It might be. I'll have to check the list of because I have the. It might be a part of the Great Books of the Western World set that I have. I think it might be in there. I'll have to check.
This is. If we're done with this scene, we get to the next scene. This is where we get to the
cameo.
Thank you, the cameo. It was actually my wife who figured this one out. So the ghoul gets picked up and taken off of the pole by a big hulking figure. Now, big brain me, I'm like, ooh, that's a super mutant. And Ashley says, you say that like I should know what that is. I said, you will see. Takes him to an old church, and he's talking. He's just talking to the ghoul about typical things like, oh, there's so much stuff going on in the wasteland, and oh, something needs to happen, and a fire is rising in the east. That vibe of a conversation. And she says, is that Ron Perlman? And I said, I'm not sure. And then eventually you get a close up, and I go, that's Ron Perlman. And, I said it like I was the one who figured it out, but she figured it out. Yeah. So Ron Perlman plays the super mutant.
You know this,
which is great because Ron Perlman also is the guy. War never changes. From the very first Fallout game.
I was like, okay, if he's not going to say it, I'm going to say it.
I got it. I gotcha.
I'm ticked at. I'm just annoyed with Amazon Prime that it glitched and I missed that scene. I'm gonna go back and watch it.
There's not really a whole lot to add to that scene. It was more one of those conversations that was supposed to answer far less questions than it raised.
Now I'm trying to get my brain off of Ron Perlman because I could just go on about all the movies he's in that I love.
There was a point where he was talking about running for president.
Yeah, I remember that.
we mentioned musical numbers before. My next note is the musical number. I don't know if you have anything that goes up before that, but I don't want to go too far ahead.
Nah, go for it, man.
So we have the Incest Association. I always forget what the actual name is, but the one that Red is running in Vault
okay.
33.
Okay, Amazon skipped this too. Wow, no wonder
What?
the episode felt short. I'm gonna go back and
Amazon, get your poop together. Mute that out. Yeah, okay, so there's a scene. I'll spoil it for you now.
go for it,
That's
man.
what we're doing.
Go for it. That's what we do.
It's the Incest Association group. It has become extremely popular. The room is filled. Reg could not be happier. So he moves over to the piano and he starts plunking on it. And then Uranium Fever starts playing. Uranium fever, it's burning in my brain. It just goes on and on and on. And he's like just playing the piano, and then there's a full musical number where everybody's like moving and pirouetting and going around like the pastry table and grabbing stuff and eating and reaching stuff, and it was a great little scene. All the while juxtaposed with Betty arriving with a bunch of heavily armored vault guards to come break up the party. But before we get there, though, so Uranium Fever is going, and then you get this change, and he's just plunking like one finger at a time. So the whole musical scene was just in his head. I can't remember what he was playing, but it was something along the lines of Mary Had a Little Lamb. And people are just kind of like eating the snacks, like. And then Betty shows up with the armored guards, and she says, I am revoking your privileges to have this meeting, as well as the food budget. And then Reg says, you can take away our license for this meeting, but you cannot have the food budget. I'm still waiting for this little plot line to go somewhere, but I actually don't need it to go anywhere. I'm happy it exists.
Yeah, like like, even though I haven't seen it, but I still am like, yeah. Even though there's moments where I like, oh, that's kind of padding. I'm like, this is just the ridiculousness of just the Fallout universe and the games. Like, that's the ridiculous matches. It matches the whole Fallout franchise. That even if it doesn't go anywhere, I don't mind. It's ridiculous. It's hilarious, and it also it I think it also shows. I like that it shows a bit of like the life in the vault. Even like I mean, obvious. I mean, we throughout the Fallout franchise, we in the games, we know nefarious things went down, but and we've seen a few of those things hinted at. But it's nice to have a little bit of tongue-in-cheek humor in there.
Yeah, something that really colors the world. I mean, who knows? Maybe it will eventually move into a bigger plot line, but yeah, I don't feel like it needs to. It's great as a standalone, And now let's get back to our regularly scheduled program. I enjoy it. I guess following up on the heels of this, we come back to everybody's favorite simp, Chat. You froze. Oh, you did not freeze.
No,
never mind.
I'm just like, oh, hey, I still, man, well, this thing cut out a lot for me. I am not happy. Anyway, moving on.
Still has the baby, and he's chatting with the mustache vault guy. I can't remember his name. He's looking for Woody. Like the bigger guy who was talking to Stephanie about. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
He's disappeared. Didn't see that coming.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. And then he turns around and says, and congratulations, Chat. For what? Oh, you getting married and all. You guys are getting married. What? So he gets up and he leaves that little spot and goes down to a hallway, passes by a couple of people who are holding one of those what are those things? It's like a trellis. It's not a trellis, but it's got like
an arbor,
something like that. They're used a lot in backgrounds for outdoor weddings or indoor weddings too, for that matter. And they say, "Congratulations, Chet." everywhere he goes. Congratulations, Chet. And he gets to the billboard, and right there, Chet and Steph. No, it was her name first. Stephanie and Chet's wedding tomorrow in the atrium at such and such a time, and he didn't look very happy. And I realized I don't really know what I specifically want, but I want this guy to have a man up moment. Excuse me, a man up moment really bad. I can only laugh at a dude who acts like this so long before I either want the plot to kill him or he rises above. And that actor just plays the part perfectly.
He does it so well. I think what part of what makes it hilarious is he has like the chiseled jawline, like the clock.
It's so handsome.
Like you look at him and he looks like the the chiseled guy you'd have in a movie from the 50s,
Yeah,
40s and 50s. He looks like the hero character, and I think that's obviously that's done on purpose, and I think it's hilarious. And I think it is hilarious that he's also the simp, but I agree. I would like to see him have some kind of moment, like even if it's not like a full transformation, but if he just has like one moment where he say some tense scene happens and he brains the bad guy with a wrench and has that like oh, 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 I just did that kind of thing, and then doesn't and like but is still kind of bit of a wuss. I'd be okay with that. At least
I'd be
I mean
okay with that, but I wanted him to specifically put Stephanie in her frickin' place. I don't like I don't mean violently. I'm not
right.
saying remove a child's mother out of their life.
Hmm.
Not that at all. That would get really dark really quickly. But something
Right. Stand up to her.
at the very least, I would. This is what I would be happy with. This is something that I would, speaking for someone else, probably approve of. Put the baby in the care of somebody else, leave a note, and walk away. Where
Hmm.
walk away? Where I don't know. Honestly, an existence out in the wasteland would be better than like. It just hurts. It hurts to see. I want him to have a moment.
Maybe we'll get it. I mean, Norm has gotten he started to
Norm's awesome.
yeah, like
I like him.
I was not expect to be honest. I was not when we saw him in the first season, I was not expecting to like Norm.
Same.
I was expecting to tolerate him. Now I'm just like, go Norm.
Norm's awesome. I like it. I like it when a show can have so many different characters, and a lot of them you think, yeah, I'm not feeling it, but then they grow on you. That's a
Yeah,
good show.
yeah,
That's a real good show.
yeah.
Um, Speaking of characters that warm up to you, even when they disappoint you, Maximus, Maximus and Thaddeus, they get their moment, in the episode.
Hmm.
Uh, Dog Meat had found them with the ghoul's hat,
Hmm.
and they look at Dog Meat and they go, "Oh, okay," and then they follow Dog Meat all the way to the church where the ghoul is still resting. One thing I did forget to mention when the ghoul was talking with the super mutant a few scenes back,
Hmm.
he gets kind of hung up or suspended a little bit, and he still has a hole in his stomach chest area from the pole.
Hmm.
And the super mutant put something luminous and green into that hole, which I can only assume is something nuclear radioactive. I think that's a fair bet, to be
Yes.
honest. And no explanation as to what it is. My guess is it's going to be a somehow, some way, it's going to mean that the ghoul does not have to keep on using his puffer. That would be my guess. Why? I don't know.
I
I'm
don't.
just guessing.
I mean, within the lore, that wouldn't work because
No, I know.
radiation is what keeps ghouls alive, like exposure to radiation. But it's also what deteriorates their mind faster. So ghouls who want to try to keep from going feral try to avoid radiation, even though they're drawn to it.
I know. And where it gets tricky is the TV show has changed up the lore
Hmm.
about how the
Yeah.
ghouls work a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, the only reason why I'm guessing that is because the story now needs the ghoul to not have to worry about finding his drug stash.
Yeah.
That's my guess. That's my guess. I like the show a whole lot, but sometimes you just need to kind of have a hand waving thing.
Hmm.
I think this is going to be one of those things.
Yeah.
So Thaddeus and Maximus show up. The ghoul is just kind of lounged back like this, and he goes, "Oh, it's you. Great." And then fade to black. Johnny Cash plays. That's it. That's the episode.
So there's one part before this in the flashback where you have Cooper, where
Yep.
he now it was after his whole conversation with Barbara and everything, and so later on he wants try to get some more answers. So he gets Hank, who's been accompanying them to Vegas, and Hank, I think he gets him, yeah, he gets him he drugs him, and he opens up the briefcase that
Yep.
he's been walking
Yep.
around with that's been handcuffed to him, and he
Yep.
finds an injection gun, and he's
Hmm.
like, what is, like, he's really confused as to what's going on. And then Barbara comes in, and she takes it, sticks it into Hank's neck, and then
Yep.
pulls out the cold fusion, which was the same way that the scientist in season one had been trying to transport the cold fusion and everything. So
That's a good. I forgot about that.
yeah, so I'm like, okay, all right, okay, and so I'm just like, okay, so Hank was smuggling the cold fusion. Was this to get it to House, or is there that other party, that other player that House had mentioned? Is that what they were trying to do? Which
Yeah.
the scene jumps, the scene went to another spot, another scene, before we got any explanation. But yeah, there's questions.
Definitely questions. I'm glad you brought that scene up. I forgot about that. Yeah, overall, it was a good episode. A lot of great character moments, really good humor, good
Hmm.
character building, and it didn't feel choppy. It felt like
No.
it had a good, coherent structure, which is really good.
Yeah, because I think some of the other episodes have felt
Yep,
choppy, especially when they, as I've aforementioned, they sometimes would jump for 2 minutes to one character and then
yep,
another minute to another one, and some of those scenes in there just taken on their own, nothing really happened. It was more of, you'd have to like cut all their scenes of those characters, put them together, and like, oh, okay, it's one whole story thing.
yeah.
This was a bit more, I think, yeah, less choppy, felt more consistent, more time to breathe, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, no, it was less and then and more. Therefore, therefore, therefore. We talked about that story structure where
Yes.
yeah, no, overall, good episode. I'm really looking forward. I like that they are, all of the video games basically have this undercurrent of uh, a bigger conflict is rising, something in the background, and then it always culminates into something great. Like Fallout 3, I felt like did a very good job of that, as did New Vegas.
Mhm.
Um, Fallout 4, I've honestly never finished. I have over 300 hours in the game, and I've never beaten it. I just go around doing things. Same character. I played the same character for on and off for years. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the bigger conflict. What I would like, ideally, is that they fix what they've done with the Brotherhood of Steel, and by fix, I mean ignore the mistakes and just go right back to how it should be, and have a big clash involving the Brotherhood and the super mutants and the NCR and the Legionaries. I think it'd be great. Will it happen? Probably not. But
Yeah, I'd like to see the Brotherhood redeem itself. Like, it looks like the Brotherhood is semi splintered, so you could just put it like, hey, it's splintered there, and have like one group that they haven't shown yet, that is basically exemplifies the Brotherhood that we know and love, and
mhm,
that they're trying to whip the rest of the Brotherhood into shape. And yeah.
that would be good. I would like to see that, but we'll see. but I was really happy that the super mutants came in. I always hated them as enemies in the video games. Like every time they showed up, I went, bullet sponges." But I like the enemy type.
Mm.
But they're basically bullet sponges until you get to very late game. That's it. That's all I got to add to this episode. That's for
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot else to say either. Thank you everyone for tuning in and enjoying or detesting our shenanigans, and we will
enjoying.
Okay, they're enjoying
No
it.
detestation here.
No grumpy in our band of merry men. All right, thank you very much for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.
Get you guys on the flip side. I don't know why I said that. I don't say that anyway.
Thanks for tuning in. You can find more from Sir Nick by searching Great Tradition on YouTube. You can also find me there by searching Classy Chappy. If we name dropped anyone during the show, be sure to check them out and leave them a comment saying that Classy Chappy sent you. The intro music was by Kevin MacLeod, incomtech.com, used under Creative Commons 4.0. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time.